I can take it or I can fucking break it. Keep playing with me. Keep playing with me. It's not yours, Sophie. You haven't paid a fucking dime towards that phone. How is it yours?
I can pay for it. I need it because I don't feel safe with you.
I don't feel safe with you either.
Okay, why did you even ask me to come get me then?
You said you were coming home. I mean, eventually I would think if you act like you give a fuck about this relationship, you'd come home. But the more you fuck off our relationship, the worse it's gonna be when you finally come home. You gonna have to eat some shit. You are the fucking toxicity in this fucking relationship. Because if I was an asshole nigga, I'd be whooping your ass right now telling you you ain't going nowhere, my wife. But no, I'm letting you go. But I'm finna really let you go. The fuck is this even? I don't even know what the fuck is this. What the hell kind of...
So Claire, Sophie's mom, decided to post these videos on her Instagram to expose the abuse that we are seeing in front of our eyes regarding the way Rob is addressing himself towards Sophie. And it's not pleasant to watch, nor is it pleasant to hear. Now, I believe this video itself in particular here I found on Reddit, but I believe it was George, who's the one that uploaded it. So shout out to George for that one. Let me just move out the way so you know exactly who I'm talking about. There you can see his handle. Now, with that being said, I'm going to replay it. Okay, so if you don't want to stay in to see it again, I do understand, but I'm going to replay it because now I want to touch on some points that I noticed throughout the video itself in particular. Now, before I play though, I do want to start off by reading the caption itself in particular. As you can see here, this is Rob threatening to smash Sophie's phone and wanting her to pay for it even though she is in the USA on a K1 visa, can't work, has no money. Threatening her and making her cry. It gets worse, trust me, more to follow. I'm sick of being accused of a controlling mum, but right now I step back. You know, I can't really imagine what it's like to be a parent and to see your child be in a relationship with somebody that has such aggression behind them that when they talk to your child, they talk to your child as if they are a piece of crap. You know, as if your child is somebody who they picked up from the floor and they have every right to speak to that person however they see fit, even though it's not fit clearly. Now, here's the thing. I don't know, obviously none of us know the ins and outs of exactly what happened, what obviously brought Rob to this point here where he decided to speak to Sophie with such disrespect. Because really and truly, you know, for me, myself in particular, no one should ever be willing to marry anybody that they are going to then end up speaking to with such disrespect. And no one should want to ever marry somebody that has the ability to even speak to you like, you know, like you're a piece of crap. Do you see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, the moment that we decide that we want to be official with someone, the moment that we decide we want to marry someone is because you're going through all the trials and errors of understanding that you both do respect each other despite whatever differences that you may have that you've had to work on throughout the time to compromise, so therefore you can be in a place that says, you know what, we are actually happy when we are not doing a madness. You see what I'm saying? But clearly with Sophie and Rob, this is something that we saw them not do. You know, we saw these two have a relationship where there was a lot of things that were not conquered, a lot of things that was not resolved, that a lot of things that were not addressed as well. You know, so with their relationship, it's always prone for it to pretty much go downhill. But at the same time, though, this isn't how you would want it to, you know, potentially go downhill. And this is by the level of disrespect that we're witnessing within this video in particular. But now let's play it again and let's break down some of the things or just how the video is, how the video goes.
I can take it or I can fucking break it. Keep playing with me.
First and foremost, the fact that he started by saying, I can take it or I can effing break it. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how that can make him feel like a man, you know? How that can make him feel like, you know, as if he actually respects his woman, just see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, let's switch the roles. Would he like it if she said the same thing to him? Absolutely not. You know, and of course, all the time, we always speak about relationships. We always talk about it, but on both sides, you know, how would the reaction be if it was this way, etc., etc., etc. But the matter of the fact is, the fact that he even brought himself to the point where, one, he's giving her eyes like that, And let's not forget that he's driving right now. The fact that he's driving right now and he also has time to still be abusive with his language and also look at her and give her dirty looks at this moment in time, that is not safe. You know, these are moments in time that really into a lot of people should just stop the car, pull over and have the conversation that you need to have, you know, as respectful as possible. Not to drive and, you know, be losing your cool because usually, because sometimes when people are driving and they're losing their cool, they can sometimes even cause an accident as well. So I'm not a fan of the fact that this even happened whilst he was driving. That is unacceptable, you know, but that's just my opinion on that one. But let's continue.
Keep playing with me. It's not yours.
Oh yes, and also the term "keep playing with me." What do you mean? Who says that? Keep playing with me. Like honestly, that is a disgusting thing to say to anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's one thing to say to your wife. It's another thing even if you say to your freaking kids. It's another thing if you say to your friends, family. But that is something that you just don't say to people. What kind of threat? Like, keep playing with me. Okay, and what? Okay, I'll keep playing with you. Now what? What are you gonna do? You gonna beat me up? What are you gonna do? And for me personally, I'm not a big fan of people that love to sit down and waste time having arguments. For me personally, I don't have arguments with people. I say what I'm going to say and then I just leave it as that. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter whether I win or lose the argument, even though I don't really believe that you can win or lose an argument. End of the day, people having their opinions and it's up to you if you want to obviously take that person's opinion seriously or not. And then that's that. You see what I'm saying? So for me personally, I say what I got to say and then I'm out. You know what I mean? I ain't got time for none of this ridiculous energy. But let's continue.
Sophie, you haven't paid a fucking dime towards that phone. How is it yours?
Just because she hasn't paid a dime to the phone doesn't mean it's not hers. If you have bought the phone for her and you have gifted to her, that means that phone is now hers. I can't stand people that use money as a way to have a to have an argument. Like what? You spent money and you got a phone. That's it. Get over it. This shouldn't even be a thing.
I need it because I don't feel safe with you.
I don't feel safe with you either.
Okay, why did you even ask me to come get me then?
You said you were coming home. I mean, eventually I would think if you act like you give a fuck about this relationship, you come home. But the more you fuck off our relationship, the worse it's gonna be when you finally come home. You're gonna have to eat some shit.
Now, this is the question that I will bring up though, and I feel like this is a very important question to have because, you know, I've seen this way too many times now online, and sometimes people do this, they do this because they're trying to actually ridicule someone's character, you know, on purpose. So I have to ask the question, you know, the devil's advocate, why did Sophie record this conversation? And I asked why, because usually when somebody records this type of conversation is because they know that if they say certain things to someone, that person is going to be easily triggered. And because that person may be triggered, you know, it's a way of, you can argue and say it's a way of setting someone up, you know, because I've seen this, I'm sure we've all seen this, you know, with celebrities all over the, you know, all over the internet, you know, when you always get a recording with the other person's recording them, and sometimes when they do it, the recording is, listen, 1000% legit, that person is a complete a-hole. But then sometimes people set up a trap. They will say what they're going to say to trigger you and then obviously record it just to expose you, to say, oh, look how bad that person really is. And the reason why I'm so against something like this, depending on how you do it, if you're doing it in a way like you're purposely trying to catch someone out and you're purposely going to try and trigger them, I'm not a fan of that, because that means that you have the power, or at least should have the power. Well, you've got the power to acknowledge that obviously this person you're with is somebody that gets triggered easy. That's first and foremost. So that's one power anyway. But also at the same time, you should then have a power to also be like, you know what? Because you get triggered so easily over certain things, I just shouldn't be with you. Let me walk away. Because really and truly, I know that sometimes in relations, people can feel trapped because they can be manipulated. That is 100% a thing that can happen. But in some situations, people aren't always necessarily trapped by manipulation. Some people just stick around because they just enjoy it, or no, because the toxic environment is their comfort zone. And I think that's something that we also have to address too. I do wonder if Sophie does come from a household of a toxic environment, because she already spoke about how she had to look after her mum over the years when her mum was, you know, taking substance. And the fact is, if her mum was taking, at the times when her mum was taking the substance abuse, Lord knows what characters her mum was bringing around her daughter. So to be honest, if Sophie is deciding to still stick around him, regardless of the fact that she knows that he's got a loose temper, that is something that I would highly suggest for her to go to obviously get some sort of therapy or something, because these are conversations that aren't hard sometimes. Why do people stick around with people that are unhealthy for them? And usually, well, not usually, but always, it always stems from childhood, 1000%. That can never be avoided. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's something else that obviously that needs to be spoke about more of, if you know what I mean. But let's continue. Right, let's read this caption here. This one is very, very small words, but let's see what we can gather with my binoculars. This is my daughter hiding in the closet with the dog, who is shaking because Rob expects her to pay for things, even though she's on a K1 and unable to work, and he's going to be his going to be his sponsor. And I had to get calls every single day with Sophie breaking down and secretly sending her money just to give her like bad essentials like toothbrush, water. Couldn't give them more because then it would be enabling, but this is what I had to do. Okay, so yeah, I just about read that, you know what I mean? I do apologize. Quality. Well, I mean, listen, first and foremost, it's not a good thing if Sophie's now in a position where she's hiding in the closet. But now let's talk about it on the other side of things. Despite whether or not Sophie recorded this on purpose because she knows that he's a trigger to try and obviously expose him, I will say this though. The fact that Rob is more than comfortable to continue still speaking to Sophie, the way he's not, forget that. The fact that Rob is still comfortable to speak to his wife, knowing that she is going to put herself in a position where she's going to hide in the closet, knowing that when he's speaking to her the way he is, that she's also going to be crying, which is obviously what we witnessed in the previous video, obviously her crying. If he's comfortable to keep doing that, that obviously shows that this man has no love for her. He has no respect for her. He has no care for her. He basically just doesn't give a damn about her. That's generally speaking, right? So really and truly, in this situation, if you are somebody in a situation where you know that you are expressing that you're upset, but the person who's talking to you like actually garbage is not acknowledging that, well, then that's your sign to say that you have to leave. You have to bounce. You have to go. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I think it's one thing to be able to identify signs of abuse, but it's also another thing to be able to identify signs of when to leave. Do you see what I'm saying? So usually when we have these conversations based on, you know, what he's doing, but we don't actually see it from a certain other perspective, if you know what I mean. I hope I'm making sense there. But basically what I'm saying is that if Sophie is in a position where she feels the need to have to hide in the closet and he's still going at her, that's a sign to leave. If Sophie is in a position where she's crying because he's saying XYZ to her and he doesn't care, that's a sign to leave. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you choose to stay when you know that you're in a position where that is making you scared, that is not good. But I will say this though, the fact that Sophie obviously went off and recorded more than one video, I would like to believe that she didn't do this on she didn't purposely trigger him to get a reaction. I would like to say that the reason why she recorded is because this is something that generally happened, and each time it's happened, you know, she's been, I guess, fortunate enough to be ready with her phone. But here's the thing that's so crazy. We have to still watch this couple throughout the rest of the season, but to make it worse, this couple is also reported to be on the next season of The Last Resort 2. See, obviously, really know how to keep their cast members, don't they? You know, they keep hiring the wrong ones and they keep keeping the wrong ones. Absolutely disgusting.
You are the fucking toxicity in this fucking relationship. Because
all right, let's break that down. Let's say what Rob is saying is true. Let's say Sophie is the one that is a toxic person in a relationship. So why are you with her? Why are you staying? Why are you choosing to be with someone who's toxic? Why are you choosing to stay with someone that is triggering you? Why? If you feel like her being toxic is what triggers you to speak to her the way you speak to her, and therefore puts you in a position where you then ignore her crying, ignore her hiding, all that kind of stuff, then why are you still with her? Why be with someone that is triggering you? Because at the end of the day, whatever happens with you two now, you know, it's going to be down, whatever stupidity that you do is going to be down to your fault of the fact that you stuck around. But like I said before, they are both in a position where they both have reasons to leave, but they're both choosing to stay. So maybe they both come from a background of toxic energy, and that's why this toxic energy is a comfort zone for them, and that's why they're both unable to just put away. But
if I was an asshole nigga, I'd be whooping your ass right now telling you you ain't going nowhere, my wife.
Why is that relevant? What's the difference with, you know, you know what I actually don't like about what he said there, to be fair? In that conversation, he referenced it as if it's only people of color that do this madness of... Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I just feel like he pinpointed a race. Yeah, Rob's just an arsehole. You know? But okay, let's break it down though. He thinks just because he's not laying hands on her, that it's okay for him to speak to her the way he's speaking to her. You're still an a-hole regardless. It doesn't matter what type of abuse you are causing towards your wife, and you made it clear that she's your wife. So why are you still here though? Abuse is abuse no matter whether it's physical or mental, physical or verbal. Point blank period. So you are no better than anybody else that does it physically anyway. It's all the same. I mean, some people can argue that mental is far worse than physical. It's really and truly, you are degrading her right now. Making her feel like literally she is the scum of the earth.
But no, I'm letting you go. But I'm finna really let you go. The fuck is this even? I don't even know what the fuck is. What the hell kind of...
Well, let her go then. Let her go. Well, please, as I always say, please, any signs that you witness around your life, whether it's something that is happening to you or something that is happening to people around you, please take action. I mean, most important, if it's happening to you, take action, leave. The reason why I say most important, if it's happening to you, take action, leave, is because even if it's happening to someone around you, trying to give someone that advice, obviously, there's no guarantee that person's going to listen to you, right? You can only do what you can. So most importantly, when it comes to yourself, if you're in this situation, don't even ask yourself why you're still here. Ask yourself, what is your worth? Ask yourself, is being in the life you're in now worth selling your soul? Ask yourself this other question. Do you know who you are right now? Do you know who you are right now? Do you love yourself right now? When you see yourself in the mirror, do you love yourself? When you're walking down the street, do you feel like you love yourself? You see what I'm saying? When you're around whoever it is that maybe make you uncomfortable, do you feel loved by them the way you want to be loved? So look for these signs. But if you can't see the signs, because sometimes they're not easy to see, always remind yourself of this simple question. Do I love me? Let me know your thoughts and your opinions, because I'll tell you this now, for me personally, questions like that definitely worked for me. Whatever it is that I've been through or going through sometimes, I just sit and say to myself, am I happy right now? Am I showing myself love right now? Does me love me right now? If my answer's not, if my answer's not positive, that means I've got to change something, whatever that is. Whether I want to change it or not, I've got to do it. Why? Because my priority is making sure that I love me. Do you see what I'm saying? Think about that for yourselves if you're ever in this unfortunate situation or any situation in life. It doesn't have to be something that involves this. It could be anything. It could even be your job. It could be anything. With that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.